Only one king in the jungle. Only one king. Hey, you cannot be interim king. Only one king.
Do you ever wonder how Khabib Nurmagomedov spends his millions? In 2012, Khabib entered the UFC cage for the first time. Now, 7 years later, he's on top of the Forbes list of Russia's wealthiest show business and sports stars. Khabib and his competitor Conor McGregor have earned the most money in MMA history. They earn at least $550,000 for every minute they fight in the cage. But what if I told you that it's just the tip of the iceberg of the Russian's earnings? From his first car to his empire of gyms, here's an exclusive look inside Khabib's lifestyle. So stay tuned because you will be surprised at the end of the video.
This is very important.
Khabib Nurmagomedov was born in September 1988 in a traditional Russian family from a small mountain village called Sildi.
I'm mountain guy.
In this village, almost all local men used to be warriors because of previous local conflicts, and Khabib's relatives were no exception. His father, Abdulmanap, is a master of freestyle wrestling, and his uncle was a Sambo world champion in 1992. By the age of 8, Khabib had already developed a passion for martial arts by watching his dad train his students on the first floor of their 2-story building that eventually turned into a gym. Khabib started wrestling as it was the most common sport for kids in his area. Coached by his father, he had his ups and downs. To make him better, his father bought a bear for the 9-year-old Khabib to train with. At the age of 15, Khabib started training in judo. He found it very difficult, but he couldn't stop as his father felt it necessary for him to learn to fight with a gi-jacket. 2 years later, his father trained him the combat style of Sambo and gave him permission to engage in street fights. After engaging in a number of street arts, Khabib realized that mixed martial arts was the combat sport he would love to participate in professionally, and started MMA in 2008, achieving 4 victories in 1 month. In the next 3 years, Khabib got promoted to Pro FC and won 12 matches. Late 2011 was a turning point for Khabib, whose lossless winning streak secured him a deal with UFC, the dream of any MMA fighter. For his first fight in UFC, he received $16,000 and gained the nickname The Eagle. By mixed martial arts standards, it was barely enough to cover the money spent on his preparation for the fight. At the beginning of his career, Khabib spent most of his money, which was between $10,000 and $15,000, on trainings. His 6th victory in the UFC already brought Khabib $64,000. 4 years later, he had the most profitable fight in UFC history, against the famous Conor McGregor. For this fight, he received $2 million, and adding revenue from broadcasting rights, he made over $10 million in total. Nurmagomedov was the first Muslim to have ever held the UFC championship title. According to his manager, Khabib was paid 3.5 times more for his next fight with Dustin Poirier. After this, naturally, he could invest more money in preparation. His expenses included flights, nutritionists, hotels, meals, and coaches, for a total of $40,000 a month. Khabib has been working with the Reebok sports brand for a while now. Following a series of bad injuries in 2014, Khabib didn't participate in any fights for 17 months, and his sponsors made his only income. It didn't stop Khabib from being on top of the world. In 2019, he extended his contract with Reebok for 3 more years, and in the same year, he signed a deal with Toyota. The total amount of the 2 deals has not been disclosed, but we imagine it turns around a few millions. The UFC has its own official drink, Monster Energy. According to Forbes, the brand was very keen to sign a contract with Khabib, a role model for young people who are the drink's target audience. But instead, the Russian fighter preferred Gorilla Energy drink and signed a 3-year contract with them, worth over $1 million. Since 2019, Gorilla has been holding its own MMA tournaments, in which Nurmagomedov's fellow club members take part. Recently, the fighter started making money from Instagram. In 2019, 40 advertisements have been posted on his account. According to some reports, a single ad on his account costs at least $4,700. Not bad. Money might be attractive, but Khabib doesn't accept all offers that come his way. His blacklist includes betting, alcohol, and cigarette companies, which he turns down straight away. Surprisingly, 2 Russian publishing houses, Exmo Brno and Alpina ended up on that list as well. To publish Khabib's autobiography, they offered him only $2,347 plus 15% royalties on sales in exchange for the transfer of all rights and screen adaptation. The offer was so ridiculous that Khabib and his co-author Tsar Kurbanov decided to publish the book independently. They called it Khabib Time and published 60,000 copies in Russian in December 2018, and its English and Turkish editions are in the pipeline. Khabib's other earnings include the Eagles MMA Club, in which his father was the chief coach, and a martial arts center named after Khabib. As an individual entrepreneur, Khabib owns several trademarks bearing his name. Under one of them, Khabib Gym, he conducts a wholesale clothing and footwear business. He called the company in honor of his native village, Sildi. Also, the fighter plans to open Khabib gyms in London, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Moscow, a project masterminded by a man he considers his brother. The aim is to give underprivileged youngsters an escape from the streets and introduce them to the discipline that can be installed through MMA. After his father's death, Khabib is now retired from MMA fights.
Today, I want to say it was my last fight. And no way I'm gonna come here without my father.
But he doesn't want to lose focus on his projects, so he'll start with a gym in Abu Dhabi. While most MMA contenders are in it for the money, Khabib admitted his goal was not the money, but the title.
You fight for money, I fight for legacy. It's different.
For example, he's better than McGregor but earned 3 times less. So on what else does Khabib spend his millions on? Cars. He isn't one to show off his cars on social media, but he is known to have some good ones. Here's a look at Khabib's car collection. Lada Priora, a compact and affordable option to many, was the first car that Khabib purchased. He owned it for a few months and sold it to fund his MMA career. This really seems to have paid off when considering the position he is now. After a while, Khabib could afford a Mercedes, and he chose the Model 300e. Unfortunately, he destroyed the car in an accident. Later on, Khabib has been seen driving Ferrari California. This supercar is more representative of his net worth and costs $180,000. This Mercedes Class S was offered to Khabib by a Russian billionaire businessman who's a fan of the fighter. The car is worth $170,000. Surely he was very happy for the gift. Where does the UFC champion live? You'll be surprised to know that Khabib hasn't moved from his hometown, in the region of Dagestan. He has a house with a mountain view to die for. It's quite surprising that such a successful athlete hasn't left his village. His house is no different from the neighborhood, and is exactly the same as it was 15 years ago, before he was a world champion. No fancy interiors or high fences. A school and a mosque is almost everything Sildi has to offer. There's no hospital, kindergarten, internet, nor decent telephone service. The only thing the place is famous for is Khabib and his father Abdulmanap. After the fighter's numerous UFC victories, Sildi became a cult place for fans. Visitors of the village are greeted by a billboard of Khabib and the words "Welcome to Eagle Land." Fun fact: his house is on Nurmagomedov Street, but it was not named after Khabib. It was named after his uncle, who was a world champion in Sambo in 1990s. Despite the success in MMA and financial stability, Nurmagomedov continues to expand his opportunities by attending school. He is currently a 4th-year student at the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics. Khabib has achieved a lot during his lifetime, but some of his achievements go further than his net worth. He is a family man at his core, being a husband and a father to 3 children. Which celebrity lifestyle would you like us to show in our next video? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Luxus for more celebrity lifestyle videos. It will help us a lot. Thank you for watching and see you next time.